Hello and welcome to TSG Foundation's Wisdom of the Zodiac. Today's lesson and meditation will be taken from Wisdom of the Zodiac, Volume 3 by Torkom Saraydarian. And this is taken from Chapter 13 titled Libra, the Significance of Equilibrium. What I would like to do is read a few nice passages and try to explain them in my own words, and then we will do a beautiful meditation together. There are two keynotes in this chapter. One is the idea of what is balance, and the other one is what is equilibrium. They are not the same, but they feed on each other and help each other. Let's look at balance first. Balance doesn't mean to mix good and bad, dark and light, because if you do, you get muddy looking water, for example. But it means a balance of the external needs of your life, the material needs, the emotional needs of your life, plus the internal needs of your life. What do you need internally? Your spiritual needs. These must be in balance. Oftentimes we are out of balance, and what happens when we are out of balance is we don't know what are our priorities, and then we easily get out of equilibrium. So equilibrium then is the ability to fix yourself, correct yourself using your inner resources to take care of the outer needs. So you need to have both. If you know what balances you and you are able to see what your outer and inner needs are, and you are able to take breaks, know when to work, when to stop, when to have a nice meal and relax, then you are going to be in a much better shape to be able to put yourself back into equilibrium when life gives us a curveball, when we have a shock, when we have a disruption of any kind. So keeping those in your mind, let me read page 135. The energies of Libra give power to a person to create equilibrium. So Libra is saying, what do you need to be in balance? And when you have those needs met and firmly established in your mind, you are able to create equilibrium. Equilibrium is the ability of the human soul. Okay, note that word. To balance himself on the path in such a way that in spite of the pull of matter and the pull of spirit, he progresses on the path of infinity with balance. Okay, so it's the ability of the human soul. So when you know what keeps you in balance, the inner and outer, you strengthen the power of your soul, and you put the power of your personality needs, which are good and important, into perspective with the power of the soul. Those who have equilibrium in their lives will understand intuitively what this energy is. For example, when you are talking, thinking, or working, you are doing things in equilibrium so that you create a balance between spirit and matter. Okay, so when you have equilibrium, you know exactly what you need to do or not do, say and what not to say. The choices that you make will be so firmly established in your mind and heart and soul that it is really not very destructive for very long. Life exerts a strong pressure on us from the spiritual side, okay, because that's pulling us. This is why we do this work. This is why we strive, we meditate, we do all of this spiritual work, because it's pulling pulling us from the spiritual side, and a strong pressure from the material side. Of course, you have to make dinner, you have to get dressed, you have to take care of your property, you have to take care of your family, you have to take care of yourself, you have to take care of your money, your home, your car, and so on. So that's very important. So we remember these things. The human soul must adapt his bodies in such a way that he can pass through these two pressures along a narrow path. So the two pressures of the soul and the material side, and you adapt your bodies, and you are the boss so that you can pass through those two conflicting sides. The narrow path is to balance these two energies in such a way that they leave a little opening through which you can advance. And that's how we advance. We don't advance by being spiritually entertained or doing a little bit here and forgetting something for the next 3 months or 3 years. That's just playing around with the teaching, and we are not strong enough yet to respond to the spiritual side. That spiritual side is always pulling us. Remember that, always pulling And it is going to be a question of how are you going to hear it, and will you listen to that side? Let me read the last paragraph before we go to meditation. If you become too spiritual, that's a good point. You burn yourself and you cannot proceed on the path. Sometimes people do one lesson after another, one lesson after another. They don't take breaks to balance themselves and take care of the material part of their life, which is their body, their emotions, and their mind, their brain. And they become way out of balance. If you become too material, you sink into matter, and we know that. To balance yourself between spirit and matter is like walking on a tightrope. You must hold the balance pole and walk. You have to keep walking. That's the key word there. Don't stop and say, oh, it's the material side that's pulling me. Oh, it's the spiritual side that's pulling me. Just keep walking. Keep going through that narrow path, holding both sides in balance. The balance pole is your intellect. So you're going to use your mind. And that is why it is important for us to do the proper kind of meditation. And that is seed thought meditation. If you do that, your brain and your mind get developed and you are able to rebalance yourself with that pole that you're holding metaphorically in your hand. It balances your movement on that very narrow path between spirit and matter. If you go to any one extreme, you are going to pay a very heavy tax for it later. So if you go for the extreme, for example, of materiality, you are going to find sometime in your life, especially as you get older, or those moments when you have crises or you lose really wonderful and loving people in your life, you say, I have nothing to stand on. What is going on in my life? On the other hand, if you become so spiritual that you're constantly meditating and studying and reading and not taking care of your vehicle, then you don't have a strong vehicle in which your soul can reside. I hope that makes sense for you. And I love the period of Libra because it really puts that keynote in our mind. You can't forget the matter side of life nor the spiritual side. You must walk between them, and you have to find out how to do that by starting to meditate on what is it in your life that needs to be balanced. So let's start now with our beautiful meditation. In order to do our meditation, this is taken from pages 143 to 144, and I will guide us through it. You're going to sit up straight, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and put a nice smile on your face. Relax, relax, relax. And we are going to say, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you know how to sing that song, you can go ahead and sing it and put the video on pause until you finish it. So go ahead and say, Om Mani Padme Hum. Salutations to the jewel in you. Let us say the great invocation together, remembering that we are bringing light, love, and power into balance into our life. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. Bring that light, that wisdom into your life. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. Now think of that love pouring into your life and balancing the information, the wisdom, the truth that you have received. See, we are finding balance now with light and second with love. Now we are going to balance those two with power. From the center where the will of God is known, Let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. That is power that balances us with light, truth, love, compassion, and power and direction. That brings us balance of our spirit side. Those are the powers of our soul. Let's bring it all together. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. The seed thought is, how can I create balance in my life? First, we are going to look at what part of my life needs balance. Let me just ask the questions and pose them for us, and you think about it. Self-care. What needs balance in my self-care? In your family care and your home care, we're going to do the material first. Family and home care. That includes food, cleanliness, things you do to take care of your family and your home. Third, how do you balance, or do you need balance in your life with how you connect with your friends, family, and humanity? What needs balance in that? Now let's look at our spiritual side. What do I need to do in my spiritual side to have balance with my material side? Make a list of 3 or 5 items that you know you want to do or can do. Okay, don't go overboard, just keep it all in balance. The next question is, what strengths can I develop so I can find equilibrium in the midst of turmoil and disruption? What are the strengths in you that help you keep that balance first and then equilibrium, which means you are able to bounce back from any disruption quickly? Now repeat after me this beautiful mantra. More radiant than the sun, purer than the snow, subtler than the ether, is the self, the spirit within my heart. I am that self. That self am I. Remember to learn how to balance your life by looking at your spiritual and material needs. Strengthen those both. And when you see that they are both strong, You will be able to bounce back and be in equilibrium no matter what happens in your life. Thank you for being with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.